You have to love the second season of Kaguya-sama Love is War. I mean, I've been saying it just kind of feels to me like if you take the emotional high of the final episode, the final arc of season 1, which was the whole fireworks festival and just the idea of wanting to see them and having the, will they be able to get there on time? Will she be able to see the fireworks? It was amazing. It was, I mean, we're watching Kaguya-sama. It's hilarious, but it had that emotional high to really bring everyone together. With pretty much most of this season so far, there's been similar aspects to that emotional goodbye in season 1. But seen here, with also at times surpassing the comedy that the first season had, which is saying a hell of a lot because the first season was goddamn spectacular. I'm loving what they're doing with this season, especially with this episode as well. Like, if you look at the flow of this episode, it feels so smooth. It feels so well paced. And I really like the transition between parts 2 and 3 because it was just a direct continuation. And it felt like it was really telling something emotional while still having an element of humor, especially when you see characters like Miyuki who just pulls the form out and say, hey, I mean, that might have been why I did it, maybe I'll just wait for you to see. But then, of course, we have our bird's eye view, him not knowing should he submit it until he heard what Kaguya actually wanted, which was just like, that is amazing. I think starting the episode off with basically having our boy just get so lost in thought, I love that. Every time Miyuki pretty much ignores what he's doing or what he's saying, and he just gets lost in his passion because he feels like a kid on Christmas morning, he gets to talk about the stars and the moon, he will do all this flirtatious things that basically they both want to happen, but they're just so prideful, they're just so scared, they're just so madly in love that they don't know what to do. And it's great to see characters who just, usually you would see them on the outside look stone cold, they know what they're doing, but then on the inside would be melting and dying, and they just wouldn't know what to do. That's what we're used to seeing both on Kaguya and Yuki's side, and just seeing our girl get more and more flustered, being like, what is going on here? I didn't even have to ask for the coat and he gave it to me. He's not even caring about the indirect kiss. He doesn't understand that he's literally treating me like a girlfriend, and when she comes to that shattering realization that he is just such a child right now, he's looking at the stars and he doesn't even understand the situation that he's in. Every time that happens with Miyuki, I love his character all the more, because it's something that's very simple, but we've all been there. We've all had our worries, we've all had something that we really like, and then just for whatever reason we get lost in thought, and everything else just doesn't even matter. And then when you come to, you're like, oh god, I just completely forgot what I was upset about, but you just kind of move on at that point because you just had a great time. So it's really great to see how Kaguya just, it kind of feels like she hasn't been doing as well as she did in season 1, but I'm not complaining because you get to see adorable Kaguya faces, and who doesn't want to see that? And to be honest, her plans were pretty good. I mean, she got Yu and Chika out of the way so they would cook out of the wind, really just so she would have privacy. She was going to say it was chilly, so then he would have to give her the blanket or his coat, something like that. It was pretty much a pretty solid plan, and had him not be so lost in thought with the stars, I imagine there would have been a more even playing field with this situation, but it was great to see how she was just so embarrassed. And I mean, how many times have we seen her embarrassed at this point in time? Just look at season 2 in general, but even with season 1, there's a lot of embarrassed faces, but it always feels like the first time we've ever witnessed it, and I love it so much, because by the time he comes to, it's too late, right? Because she is just so flustered, she is so embarrassed, she gets the hell out of Dodge. And I love how you just always know when Miyuki goes home, he's gonna like have a pill in his face, he's gonna be freaking out like a little girl, he's gonna be just not knowing what to do because he was so lost in thought, and that's amazing. And I was gonna be like, okay, this is clearly the type of episode we're getting. We're gonna have probably, I mean, based on the title, we're gonna have 3 portions to this episode. And even when I see like a student council, like they're clearly picking a new one, I wasn't worried. I wasn't thinking they're going to go any sort of dramatic. I thought it was just gonna be really cute moments and very funny moments. And then they hit us with the feels. When you can see Chika and Kaguya crying, or you see Yu, who is just so sad that many of the memories that they made, he wasn't a part of, and the one that he was a part of was where he got his ass whipped by Chika. Like, it obviously has its humor, but it was bittersweet. It felt like, holy shit, are they actually transitioning away from having the student council? Are they going to do a completely new location, like a new thing? Are they going to start dating here? Like, what are they setting up for? Because this doesn't make sense. Episode 3, Season 2, that's not how Kaguya-sama rolls. But then you start seeing what they were truly going for, and I love that because it is a lot of work. I mean, look at the man. He is always exhausted. He's always tired. He works. He has the student council. He has his plans with Kaguya and how he can overcome and basically wear the pants in the relationship, or at very least have her admit to it first. All of that is all well and good, but at the same time you realize that because they don't share every class together, you know, if they don't have the council, what are they going to do? Obviously, the answer is they can hang out after school, but that would be a date, and neither one of them will admit to that unless the other does first, so it's just like nothing ever happens, and it is just so glorious. So it's really nice to see how they were building up to this, like, it felt like a season finale. It honestly did. It felt like the fireworks episode from last season, where it's like, okay, this is episode 12 of season 2 right here. We're gonna just have this emotional goodbye, and we'll see what happens. But I actually loved how they pretty much just bonded, you know? He took off his little, like, presidential collar thing there, and he was pretty much packing it up to go, and it was interesting to see characters like Kaguya try to come up with a solution. What if I was president, he was vice president? That'd be a lot less work, but at the same time, that's not who he is. He would still work just as hard even if he wasn't the president, and what's the point of quitting if you're gonna basically just go right back into a kind of similar situation? No, either you stick with it for another year or you don't, and it's very cute to see how he had it signed out. He was really just waiting to see, does she actually, because he probably has his doubts still too, even if he sees what he does to her and she does to him. But it was nice to see that, yeah, he definitely won in that situation because she asked him and he just pulled it out being like, haha, got you this time. And that's all well and good. I love situations like that, but it was really, really nice to see how it felt like it was a season finale that was trying to bring out the deep-rooted feel similar to the fireworks in last season, and that's pretty fantastic. Because this is a show that's funny, and every time they go more dramatic or serious, it doesn't take away from the humor in the slightest, because these are people, even if they're brainiacs, even if they're crazy, even if they're abusive to characters like you, it still feels like they're people, and it's nice how they do have these vulnerabilities, even if they are surrounding themselves by so much comedic aura. Kaguya-sama is my favorite comedy, not even specifically for its comedy, but honestly its drama, which may sound weird, but a big thing that makes this show so good is that you're laughing nonstop. A majority of the show, in terms of the episodes that have been released between both seasons, are more funny than dramatic. But when you get to see that dramatic, when you get to see some character development and really flesh out their personality, it's amazing to see exactly what they are, which then makes the comedy all the more appealing because you understand them at a deep-rooted level. And that's the secret to comedies. Make you understand the characters and care for them, so when they're silly or goofy or ridiculous, you're laughing, but you also understand why they're acting like that. Kaguya-sama is one of those shows that I just hope it gets 5 seasons. It's just so good, it's so memorable, and I don't even know what my favorite portion of this episode was, because honestly, 2/3 of the episode was one direct continuation of a story, with the first just being ridiculousness and having our oblivious Miyuki, who, God bless his soul, because he is just such a treat. But honestly, I'd say my favorite portion was when our boy pulled out the paper that was already signed to be requesting that he would be in the student council. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see what characters are going to try to go up against him and try to replace to be the new president, because even if he's popular, you can tell some people have their eyes on basically wanting to be the president and things like that, and they'll do whatever they can to make sure it happens. It's just great to see how this show is functioning. It's getting better with time, like a good vintage wine, and honestly, if episode 3 of season 2 can feel very similar to the fireworks episode of season 1, what is the final episode of season 2 going to look like and feel like? That's an exciting feeling, I have to say. One of the great aspects about an episode such as this is because it was so Miyuki dominant, it really lets you appreciate his character more. Because if I was going to tally the characters, the main 4 in this cast, Miyuki was pretty much at the bottom, but not because I hate him, but because, I mean, someone had to be, and Chika, Yu, obviously Kaguya, they're just my characters. I love them so much. But every time I have an episode like this that really lets him be passionate about something he likes, or really just one-up Kaguya, which at many points it seems impossible, but as I also said last week, it kind of feels like Kaguya's losing a lot more than she's winning in this season, but I'm not complaining because we get the adorable faces. It's really nice to me to just see how every character has their chance to shine, and it's not like they get one chance to shine and then it's done. No, every character is going to have multiple moments. I mean, just look at Yu. He wasn't even the dominant force of this episode, but you could tell how sad he was that he didn't get to participate in more and kind of felt guilty about that and just wanted to have this continue so he could maybe put his foot forward a little more and participate in more activities even if he is scared of certain characters. It's really nice to see what they're doing with the cast overall because it feels like they're people despite being completely anime and as anime as they come, especially with just some of the shit that they have lost in their head, like not willing to admit that they both like each other, or at the absolute most, they love each other, which it kind of seems like they do. But as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, Episode 3 down in the comment section below. What was your favorite point of the episode, and were you expecting some of the dramatic? Because I definitely can say I wasn't. But if you're feeling, do let me know. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, share your support, remember to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.